Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lakewood Health System's Be Well Videocast. My name is Matt Jensen, Director of Marketing at Lakewood Health System, and today we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and Lakewood Health System's congregate living facilities, its care center, Lakewood Manor, and Lakewood Pines, and some of the steps currently being taken there to help ensure the safety of these residents at these facilities. We're also going to be talking about compassionate care visits. What are they? And also talking about restrictions around visitations to the care center overall and what those restrictions are. And then finally, as the state of Minnesota starts to open up a bit and some of the restrictions are removed, what, if any, impact will some of these changes have at our congregate living facilities? And here to help me discuss all of those today is our VP of Senior Services at Lakewood Health, Kathy Dobson. Kathy, it's so nice to have you with us today. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Matt. It's good to be here.
All right, Kathy, first question for you today. You know, we're hearing so much on the news, unfortunately, it seems like every single night, about COVID-19 and just how difficult this is proving to be for our older population. It's especially hitting nursing homes and assisted living facilities quite hard. And talk a little bit about, if you could, about our current situation at Lakewood Health System. Have we had any cases of COVID at our facilities, at our assisted living or our care center? And then also talk about the variety of safety precautions that you currently have in place at these facilities to help ensure the safety of our residents.
Sure. Yeah, so you're right. There is a lot of talk in the media and everywhere else about congregate living, and I feel like we've done a really good job of staying on top of that. To date, we have had one confirmed case of COVID-19. It was at the Lakewood Manor, one of our assisted living facilities. The patient there had already been being cared for under, the CDC and MDH recommendations. And we just continued to follow those recommended protocols after the virus was detected. I do want to be respectful of that tenant's privacy, so I'm not going to share a lot of detail, but I am happy to report that that tenant has made a full recovery, and we have had no additional cases identified in any of the tenants or staff that work in that building. So as of today, no cases at our care center or our two assisted living buildings. We also have a home-based services program, so that would be nurses and other department staff going out into homes, and that's home health, hospice, and palliative care. And those programs also, we follow the guidelines and making sure that we are keeping those clients and our staff safe in those areas as well.
Fantastic. Can you talk a little bit, Kathy, about some of the various safety precautions? I know there's a bit of a difference between an assisted living facility and also a care center and what those restrictions are. Can you talk a little bit in terms of what the differences are in terms of restrictions and what some of those actually are at our facilities right now as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So it can be a little bit confusing, but as far as visitor restrictions, we do have restrictions at both our assisted living and our care center. The guidelines are a little bit stricter in the care center. There's a lot of reasons for that, and things are changing frequently with the state and national guidance that we're getting. Tenants tend to be a little bit less restricted in leaving and returning. Part of that is just the fact that they have their own private apartments. But I would say overall, we do encourage all of our residents and tenants to stay at home as much as possible for their safety, as well as the safety of the other tenants in the building. We're also encouraging the use of masks for any of our residents or tenants when they're out of their rooms in communal areas, and we do provide those masks for them. There's a lot of other safety precautions we have in place, probably too many to list here, but some of the main ones that I'd like to touch on. We do have screening, so all of our staff are screened every day when they come to work. It includes temperature checks, a lengthy list of questions, and if needed, they do go home and wait for guidance or testing if we feel that that's warranted. We also screen all of our tenants and our residents in our care center and assisted living, and also watch for any signs and symptoms there and take immediate action if needed. Again, the visitor restrictions are in place, and we know that is tough for folks, but we feel it is a great way to help avoid spreading or exposing people. We also have no large group communal dining or activities at this time, also as a way to try to mitigate that exposure. And again, I know it sounds really intense, really restrictive, but we do know it's our best chance to remain COVID-free or at least reduce the spread if we do end up with any positive cases.
No, absolutely. I mean, simply, I don't think there's enough caution that can be taken in regard to situations like that. So it sounds like you and your staff are doing a lot of very thorough and detailed work to make sure that those residents are as safe as they can be right now. You had mentioned it too, and I'll jump right into my next question, Kathy. It's a difficult time for families of care center residents right now with those restrictions. They just don't have that same access that they've been used to having in the past. And so can you talk a little bit about what options are available for families right now just to stay in contact with their loved ones if they've got someone in our care center right now, and what sort of things is Lakewood doing to help support that connection and those interactions at this time?
Sure. So that's a great question, and one we get frequently. So for our care center, we have set up options for virtual visits. There's several different options available. I would say our most popular has been Zoom or FaceTime visits, and we have completed a lot of these, and it's been going great. And I have to say it's something that's heartwarming to our staff as well as our residents. And for anyone that would want to do that, they just need to contact our social services team within our care center. We also, of course, have lots of phone calls going back and forth. We have an e-greeting option on our Lakewood Health System website, and those are used as well in both our assisted living and our care center. Something that comes up a lot, I know, in the media is window visits, and that also is something that we absolutely do encourage. We do ask that the windows remain shut, and that's for several different reasons, but we do love to see those window visits. We also ask at this time, as the weather's getting nicer, our residents want to be outside, and that can create some concern for exposure if we have visitors coming up. So we do have signs posted on areas that visitors can come up to the window, but still allow our residents to be outside in their own protected area so they can enjoy the beautiful Minnesota spring that we all get to have right now. So other things we have going on, I would also tell people to check out our website, lakewoodhealthsystem.com. If you go under the COVID-19 area, there is a spot for long-term care updates. And there we list all sorts of different activities that are going on, as well as other updates specific to congregate living and COVID-19. The other thing, Matt, I would just like to quickly address is compassionate care visits. And I noticed you did bring that up at the beginning. Compassionate care visits are meant for end of life. So if we would have a resident or a tenant that is showing decline and appears to be near the end of life, we are allowed to have visitation at that time. There are some limitations to it, but we are allowed to have families come in. At this point, they still must be screened and masked in order to be coming into the building, and then we do have to limit where they are in the building. But those are absolutely, we understand that they're necessary and we want those to happen. The other thing I would like to say, Matt, is just, you know, we miss the families too. We miss our families, we miss the volunteers, having the clergy coming in, all of those different things. The activity in our care center is not the same, it's quiet. But we so appreciate that our residents and families have been so respectful of the restrictions and knowing that it's not just protecting their family member, but it's protecting all of our residents. Our residents are doing great. They're amazing. They're so resilient and understanding of all of this, probably more so than the rest of us in the general public. And our activities department has done a great job of coming up with unique and creative ways to still have activities and help bring some joy. So it's great to see. So even though these are hard times, there's still some amazing work happening, and I think it's important to point that out as well. But given all of that, again, just saying, you know, even though these are tough times and people aren't allowed to visit, it's just important that people know that every additional person that comes into our building is another opportunity for an exposure. And we have a very vulnerable population. So that is truly why the visitor restrictions are necessary at this time. We, as much as the families, are looking forward to the time that can be lifted.
Great information, Kathy, and thanks for giving us some insight into the residents and the fact that they seem to be doing quite well and they're making the most of this. I think it's probably difficult for a lot of us to understand, but we also realize how important that is as this virus continues to spread, and we want to do everything we can to keep those folks safe. So thanks for bringing some sunshine into your commentary. I like that. That was really, really nice. And then also, I wanted to just finally wrap up a little bit, Kathy, with as the state of Minnesota begins to open up a bit and we start to see restrictions loosened up a little bit, does that really have any effect on some of the work that you guys are doing there, or the restrictions that are in place right now?
Sure. So right now, yeah, with the new announcements with Governor Walz, stay at home has become safe at home, but really things have not changed for care centers and assisted livings across the state. It still remains super important to limit the exposure risk to these people in our buildings. So the same visitor restrictions still apply that did a week ago and a month ago. They're giving guidance as to when we can start lifting some of those restrictions. But right now, there is no change, and I anticipate it'll probably be a little while just based on some of the guidance that we're seeing. We're following it closely. I think as far as lifting restrictions soon in this area, they're saying as long as there is spread within the communities or within a facility, which luckily we don't have at this time, I don't think any restrictions will probably change.
Great information, Kathy. Thanks for sharing that with us today. It sounds like we've got a bit more time under the current restrictions right now, and hopefully we can start to see some light at the end of this tunnel. So thank you for joining me today. It was great to have you with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care of yourself, and we will talk again soon.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, it was great talking to you too. I'm with you. I hope some of this can be lifted very soon. My heart and our thoughts go out to all those facilities that are struggling at this time, and even the people within our state. Just hang together, be well, be safe, everyone.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Kathy. Enjoy your day.
Thanks.